Now, fourth episode of Culture of Care, and we've kind of shared about the culture of care and some of our past struggles, but it's not always, we want to make sure that we're relevant and that we're really trying to share that we are all going through struggles, either have been, currently are, or will go through, and it's okay that if you're going through that. So we've talked a little bit about some stuff that we've dealt with in the past and some moments in our life that we really needed some care in our life. Yeah. But moving forward a little bit, I mean, our church has really kind of grown and kind of blossomed and blown up. And as we've begun to talk about this, there's been new struggles. So is there anything you can think about in a more like present time frame that you have dealt with or maybe still dealing with that you're still needing that culture of care?
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so relevant, is because life is an ongoing process and we never arrive completely. We're all on this journey together. And it's probably no secret that over the last several weeks I've had some challenges health-wise. And several weeks ago I began having these symptoms that felt like heart-related. And that's a big deal to me because 15 years ago I had open heart surgery, so they monitor that very, very closely. And went through all the medical things, and my heart is good. And yes, I do have one, by the way. I've got medical.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I've got photo evidence of that. But what it did indicate is that my body does not handle stress the way that it used to. And when I extend myself beyond what my limits are, because I forget how old I am, and I don't take adequately care of myself. And when the doctor made this statement, it's a funny statement, but it really is true. He said, you need to remove stress from your life. Well, that's kind of that's a complicated, yeah, that's a complicated statement. So what I realized is that I am very, very good at helping other people set boundaries in their life. I am very effective in walking with people and helping them manage areas of their life. But I had to come to the conclusion that evidently I am really terrible at this for myself, that I am not good at that. So I had to make a decision. I'm either going to continually move forward by not being good at it, or I'm going to have to recognize a change is required. And I think that's the challenge, Caleb, in a culture of care, is when we get deceived into believing that I can keep doing things the same way I've always done them, but then I'm surprised when the effect is the same as that effect has always been. So I realized it was a moment for me that God was giving me an opportunity, that I could look at things objectively and make a decision. So one of the decisions that I made was, if I'm not good at this for myself, which obviously I am not, then I need to go seek out some assistance of somebody that can speak into my life and help me become better at what I'm not good at. So I went to a counselor friend and am ongoing going to this counselor friend. And I think the thing that made the difference for me and is making the difference for me is realizing that I don't have it all together for myself. And that doesn't make me bad at what I do in ministry. That doesn't make me ineffective in what I do as ministry. But it takes into consideration my personality, the way I do things, and I needed someone else to speak into my life, to speak the truth in love, to show me what I don't see, expose the blind spots in my life, and give me an opportunity to adjust. And I think that's the key phrase, is that we have got to get to the place where we realize that we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That doesn't make any sense. So if you're in this place of struggle, if you're in this place of being overwhelmed, then the very first thing I think that we come to is realizing I can't keep doing this the way I have been doing this and expect things to ever be different. So it's really helping me. I am able to begin to see things from a different perspective. I am able to identify priorities that not only I need to have, but things that are consistent with God's calling in my life. You know, what am I building my ministry upon? What am I focusing on? Where do I bring the most amount of effectiveness and value? And that's really clarifying a lot of things for me, but it's also helping me begin to put some changes in place that I needed to do. And that's affecting the things that I eat, which I really hate every moment of that. I hate everything about it, but they are necessary things. But I could not do it alone.
No, and I think that highlights exactly, like, this is active and ongoing.
Yes, ongoing.
And being willing to admit that sometimes we don't have the answers.
No.
But what you said is so powerful, that just because you need help doesn't diminish the role or ability that God's given you to do what you're doing. It just has, actually, I think it's healthy. I think pride really rises up in that a lot, especially probably some more so in us men than women of, well, I don't need no one, I'm tough enough, I can do it, or I'll figure it out. And a lot of times we hit that wall and we go, oh, well, I can just push through this. I can just, if I just work harder, or I try harder, or we can push through. And man, it's so it's counterproductive. It doesn't really work.
And I think too, the fact that we're in ministry,
yeah,
there is this stigma that well-meaning Christians, and I'm not criticizing anybody, but we buy into this idea, if you are struggling emotionally or you're struggling in any area, well, it's a lack of faith, or there's a sin in your life, or you've opened the door to some type of a spiritual attack in your life, and it almost diminishes your personal responsibility because it's something happening outside of you, when no, it really is your responsibility. It really is something that you need to be actively taking care of. And there is no stigma connected to that. And it is just what life in the fallen world that we live in, we encounter. So don't be fearful about that. Don't feel as though that people are looking at you as broken and putting a label upon you like something's wrong with you. I think this is life. And we just deal with it, and you make the best decision that you can to be the most productive and effective that you can be. And sadly, we can't do that alone.
No.
And God never intended for us to do that alone. So we need to be open to allowing other people into our world and help us do what we are unable to do healthily by ourselves.
Yeah. So here at Life Source, this is a commitment we are taking very seriously. We are modeling it from top down. And so if you're sitting out there, like you've heard the last several weeks, and you're going through a struggle, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
You can absolutely connect with other members of the church, pastoral team. Get help if you need it. It's okay to, and it doesn't matter what level.
No.
Like whether you're the top or the bottom, if you need help, we want you to know you can get help.
Yeah.
So as we continue these, we have another couple sessions of these to dive deep into this. We just really want you to feel encouraged today that if you're struggling, you don't have to do it alone, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's one of the things the enemy always tries to tell us is no one understands or knows what you're going through, because what you're going through is uniquely yours. All of us have things in our lives.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll see you next week.